Hello, architecture students. Today we're going to draw an exterior door. Okay, this is an exterior door. What sets it apart from an interior door mainly is this step right here in the front. Okay, interior doors do not have that step. Okay, if you want to know what I'm talking about, go out and look at your own front or back door that leads to the outside, open it, and you'll see what I'm talking about by a step. Okay. So we're going to draw that door, and according to building code, we have to have at least a 32-inch door for that front entryway. Okay, and we'll look at the building code at a later date and time, but of course, because it says we have to have a 32-inch door, doesn't mean we have to have a 32-inch door. It means we have to have a minimum of a 32-inch door. And typically with front doors, we really want to go a little bit wider than that. I would say anywhere from 34 to 36 inches. I always go 36 inches in my designs, and that is to allow the occupants an easy way to get furniture and appliances and things like that into the front door when they're moving in. There's nothing worse than a client having to disassemble a door so they can actually get moved into a home and then have it reassembled. That's not a good idea. So I'm going to go with a 36-inch door. A lot of times I actually go with 36-inch doors in several places, such as in the garage for the door leading from the garage to the inside of the house. That would be considered a service entry. And then a back entry door, I might even go 36 there. I don't always, but a lot of times I do. And that, of course, would be your special purpose entry. This one, of course, is your front entry. So these doors, if you look at the way I have drawn this door, I did add a little bit of extra features to it besides what I had for these doors over here. I could have added some of these features to these doors, but I decided not to. But on this front door, I have added a few extra features, primarily the thickened framework. Okay, the part that represents the door frame, I have made a little bit thicker. So we'll talk about how I did that as we go along. Now here is a set of measurements and description of the door itself. You see here we have 3 feet wide. Okay, that is the opening. That line, that dimension line, and if you take that dimension line and go all the way to the extension lines, okay, you can see that it's measuring from the inside to inside at 3 feet. So that's probably what I want to establish first. Second is this 3 feet 2 inch measurement, which is measuring to the outside of those 2 thickened frame lines. Okay, and that's giving me 2 extra inches. So I'm going to take those 2 extra inches and distribute those 1 inch over here and 1 inch over here. Okay, to make those little thickened frame pieces. Okay, so that's an additional inch added to each side. Lastly, I have this 3 foot 6 inch measurement that measures to the outside of the step. That gives me 4 additional inches above this particular measurement right here. So I've got 4 more inches to work with here. I'm going to equally distribute those 4 inches and put 2 of those inches over here and 2 of those inches over here. So the step is going to extend to the left and to the right an additional 2 inches. And then I've got a measurement right here that measures the depth of this step. So that depth is 2 inches also. So from the doorway to the edge of the step is 2 inches. And of course, obviously, all the way across the step is 3 feet 6 inches. So how did I go about drawing that? Again, there's hundreds of ways to do this. I'm going to start with a rectangle. I'm going to draw this rectangle at 3 feet wide. That's what I'm going to start with, is 3 feet. Tab, hit the tab button on the keyboard to go up to the y-axis box. And this one is going to be according to the thickness of your exterior wall. Okay, and that exterior wall is this right here. Okay, the thickness from one line to the next. That is 10.5 inches. Okay, so in that y-axis box, I'm going to add or put 10.5 inches. Okay, so there's the start. This is basically the opening from this line to this line. That is the door opening. Okay, next I might want to establish the little thickened pieces right here. So if I select my rectangle and explode it, I'm going to use the explode button up here in the modify panel. And it's in the modify panel right up here to the right, up under the pencil eraser, and explode that shape. I'm going to go to the offset tool, bring the offset down into the screen, or bring the cursor down into the screen with the offset ready. And I'm going to type my offset distance. Notice I'm not hovering over any geometry. Okay, I'm not hovering over any lines, any shapes, any corners, anything like that. I don't want to, because that's going to mess everything up. So I want to hover here just in free space, and then type the distance I want to offset, which is going to be 1 inch. Click here, move that out to the right. Click here, move that out to the right. Okay, so now I've extended that additional 1 inch on each side. Next, I'm going to try this one. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I'm going to try the trim tool. Click on the trim tool, bring it into the screen, and you can see it says select object to trim or shift select to extend. So I'm going to extend by pushing down the shift button on the keyboard and then clicking on the line I want to extend. So I'm going to click over here on this side to get that one to extend. I'm going to come over here and click on this one on that side to get it to extend over there. Okay, here I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come over here to the left and hover over the line, click, and it's going to extend. Hover over the line, click, and it's going to extend. Okay, so now I have created those two sections, and I want to make them like the other ones, which are kind of bold looking. Okay, so what I'm going to do to do that is just go to the fill tool, or the hatch tool, they call it. I'm going to click on the hatch tool. I'll make sure that solid is selected right here. And I'm just going to hover inside of each one of those rectangles and then click. And that places that hatch in there. I can come up to the top and click the close hatch creation, and it's done. Okay. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to extend the front into the step. So I could do this. I could offset this line right here. Okay, and the dimensions are 2 inches. So I'm going to click on the offset tool, type 2 inches, enter, hover over the line, click, and move it out to the outside. Okay, now we talked about having 4 extra inches to work with on this 3 foot 6 inch line. So I'm going to split those 4 inches between both sides, and I'm going to extend each side 2 inches. So I'm going to activate the line, hover over this left grip, click on it, move it to the left, type 2 inches. I'm going to do the same thing over here. The line is still activated. I'm going to click over the grip, or hover over the grip, and then click to get that grip, move it over, type 2 inches. So I extended it 2 inches on each side. Now all I have to do is use my associative geometry and use my snap tracking tools that are provided in AutoCAD and just draw a couple more lines. So I'm going to hover here, click, and draw the line up. Now here I want to match it with that corner. I want to draw it up and match it with that corner. So I'll just come over here and turn on that geometry, stretch it back out to the left. And you can see the dotted green lines that are helping guide me to that particular spot. And I'm going to click, and then I'm going to draw back to the right. And when I get to that corner, I'm going to click again to establish that connection. Now I'm going to hit the escape tool, come back over here to the other side. Okay, hit the enter tool to go back into the line tool and do the same thing. I'm going to find the very end point of that line. I'm going to click, I'm going to draw up. I'm going to match my geometry right over here by using my snap tracking tools. And I'm going to bring it straight up and down and then click to establish that line. And now I'm going to bring it over to the left, get to that corner, click and snap and make that connection right there at that corner. Okay, so now I'm getting somewhere. I've got something very similar to that, just have to make a few more adjustments to it. Next is I want the actual door, this part right here. Okay. So I'm going to click on the line tool, and I'm going to click on the inside corner, the top left inside corner right there. Click, and then start drawing the line. And of course, I want this line. This is the door I'm drawing. So how long do I want this? Well, what is the width of the door? The width of the door is 36 inches. So if this is the actual door, I want to make it 36 inches. Okay, now I'm going to come over to the left 2 inches. And then I'm going to come down until I'm just, matched perpendicular to this baseline right here. Okay, and there is the door portion. I'm going to go to the arc tool and get that arc again. Here's my start point. Here's my end point right here on the inside of that big thick line. Click and then draw up just like this at 90 degrees. Click, and then I've got my door swing. I'm going to click on that door swing, click on the box for line type, drop that box down, click on hidden to. Now I've got a hidden line. Now I'm going to go to the trim tool. I'm going to click on trim, come back here into the screen. I'm going to click on the left mouse button and release it, and I'm just going to draw a line. And then once I get both of those lines hidden there, I'm going to click, and that's going to get rid of them. Hit the escape button to get out of that tool. And now I have a door. It's all a bunch of different pieces, and I definitely don't want to handle it this way. I want it all to be one item. So I'm going to go to the Insert tab, click on Create Block. All right, and I'm going to type the name of the door, which is going to be 36IN door, and because I've already got one, I have to name it uniquely. I'm just going to put an I at the end. Or actually, I should put an E for exterior. And click OK. Now, my dynamic input says specify insertion base point. So I'm going to find a place to make the base point, which is going to be right there at that hinge. And I'm going to click, and now the cursor changes to select objects. I'm going to come up here to the top right. I'm going to click the left mouse button and release it. And I got a window. Okay, and then I'm going to, once I draw the window and get everything in the selection box, I'm going to click again. And then I'm going to hit enter to confirm my selection. So now we have that exterior door. Okay, and the same thing, we're going to pick it up by its little base point there. Bring it over. Now you can see I've already got one right here. Okay, but let's say I wanted to, not that I would want to put one here, and I don't want you to put one there, but just to show you how it's done, again, is I come in with the door. I want to place this door about 6 inches from that wall. I'm going to hover right here over that corner until I get those little green boxes to light up. And that's telling me I'm connecting to that geometry, and I'm going to get some guidance off of that geometry. I'm going to drag to the left. You can see that there is a dotted green line following my cursor. I'm going to type 6 inches and then hit enter. All right, and there's a door. I am going to select the trim tool from the home tab and trim out these red lines. And now I have an exterior door entry. Okay, so that's all there is to know about exterior doors. Typically, we'll place at least 2 of them. We'll have a front door and a back door. Okay, and you can even use the same type of door for the garage door right here with a few simple modifications because it is going to be on a narrower wall. All right, but that is it. Let's move on to some specialty doors like, let's say, closet doors right here. I'm going to show you 2 different types of doors you can draw for that. And we're going to do that on the next video.